Hello everyone. Welcome back to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will discuss some exercises questions from syllogisms. So let us begin. In the previous lectures, we discussed that there are three types of problems that can come in syllogisms in your competitive exam. Type 1 was statement-based syllogisms. Statement-based syllogisms means that there are certain statements, correct? Statements can be one or two or three, and there are certain conclusions. And we have to tell whether these conclusions are true or not. So whether these conclusions follow or not. These are your statement-based syllogisms. Then we have interpretation of data using syllogisms. For example, I told you, let's say this circle represents the number of males. This triangle represents the number of let's say police officers, and this small square depicts the number of people who are fathers. Okay, number of people who are fathers. So if I have to tell which of the area will represent the data that males who are fathers and are also police officers, so we have to look at an area which has the circle, the square and the triangle. So this area will be the area in which there would be males that are fathers and that are also police officers, correct? So these kind of questions come in your interpretation of data using syllogisms. Then we have type 3, that is representation of relationships. What do you mean by that? For example, I have to showcase the relationship between a pen, pencil, stationery, let's say, okay, stationery and a car. So I have to depict the relationship between a stationery, pen, pencil and car. There are four objects. So basically stationery will be the bigger circle, correct? Stationery will be the bigger circle. Under stationery, we can have different types of stationery. We can have pens, pencils, notebooks, erasers, sharpeners, all that thing. So pen and pencil will come in stationery, and car is altogether a separate entity. It is a different object. So using this Venn diagram, I will reflect the relationship between stationery, pen, pencil and car. So this was type 3 representation of relationships. Okay, so we discussed this in the previous lecture. In today's lecture, we will discuss type 1, that is statement conclusion type or statement based syllogisms, in a little more detail. Okay, so let us start. This is your type 1 statement based syllogisms. Now, in each question in your examination, you get a set of direction. So let us read the direction. The direction says, read the given statements and conclusions carefully, assuming that the information given in the statement is true, even if it appears to be in variance with commonly known facts. What do you mean by this? So I told you that whenever we solve questions on syllogisms, we take the statements. We take the statements to be universal truth. We take the statements to be universal truth, or you can also call it, we take the statements to be universal fact. And at the same time, we do not follow the common logic. We do not follow the common logic. The common logic is not followed. For example, the question says, let's say the question is, all birds are blue. Okay, all birds are blue, all blue are black, something like this. These kind of questions you get, we have discussed this already. Does this make sense in the real world? No, because there are certain birds which are of different colors, and blue and black are different colors. So how can all blue be black? So these kind of statements do not follow the common logic, but for the sake of the question, we have to assume them to be the universal truth or the universal fact. So when you see a line like this, that assuming that the information given in the statement is true, it basically means that we have to consider them to be the universal truth or the universal fact, even if it appears to be in variance with commonly known facts. That means even if appears to be logically flawed, even then we have to consider them to be universally true. And then we have to decide which of the following given conclusions logically follows. Logically follows means which of the following conclusions are definitely true. So we either the conclusions that are definitely true or correct, or the conclusions which state that there are a possibility is correct. This we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, so if the possibility word is written and it is a possibility, then it is correct. Or if it is definitely true, it is correct. In these two situations, the logically follows from the statement. Okay, so after absorbing this much information, then we can move forward to the question. So, question 1. Question 1 statements, 2 statements are given, 2 conclusions are given. Based on these statements, we will draw a Venn diagram. We solve all questions on syllogisms using a Venn diagram. So based on these statements, we will draw a Venn diagram. And based on the Venn diagram, we have to answer whether the conclusions are true or not. Correct? So the first statement is all sweets are food. That means if this is my sweet, this will be my food because all sweets are part of food. Okay, and then second statement says all food are healthy. So if this is my food, this will be healthy, that all food are a part of healthy. So all sweets are food will be represented like this, and all foods are healthy will be represented like this. So this will be my Venn diagram. Now let us look at the conclusion. Conclusion 1 says all sweets are healthy. So obviously I can see that this is the portion of sweet, and this portion of sweet is covered in healthy. It is a subset of healthy. So this conclusion is true. Conclusion 1 is true because it definitely follows. All sweets are healthy. Conclusion number 2 says some healthy are sweets. So this is also true because see, this is the entire healthy. This is the entire healthy. Okay, this is the entire healthy. Out of this, there is a part, this part, a small part in healthy which is sweet. Therefore, this is also true. So conclusion 1 and conclusion 2 both are true. So let us look at the options. These are the 4 options. Option number 1 says both conclusion 1 and 2 are true. So this will be my answer. Option number 1 will be my answer. Okay. Now, moving on to question number 2. Again, set of 2 statements and set of 2 conclusions, and we have to tell which of the conclusions follows. That means we have to tell which of the conclusions will definitely be true. Okay. Statement 1 is some tablets are laptops. So if I have to draw the Venn diagram of some tablets being laptops, I will draw it like this. This is the highlighted portion. Some tablets are laptops. Correct? So some tablets are laptops. Statement number 1. Statement number 2 is some laptops are computers. So now I will draw computers like this because the highlight is over here that some laptops are computers. So my diagram will look something like this. This will be my Venn diagram. Based on this Venn diagram, let us look at the conclusions. Conclusion 1 says some tablets are computers. See, some tablets are computers. It is a possibility. It may or may not be true. If the conclusion was that some tablets are computers is a possibility, then we would have marked it correct. But over here, it is just a statement. And this statement may or may not follow. Hence, I will say this is a possibility. Correct? This is a possibility. Therefore, it is false. This does not follow. Okay? Now, coming to statement conclusion 2. Conclusion 2 says some laptops are not tables. So, some laptops are not tables. This may or may not be true. Now, let us look at statement number 1. Statement number 1 says some tablets are laptops. So can it be written like this? Some tablets, let me draw it like this. Some tablets are laptops. So some portion of tablet is laptop. Correct? It can be represented like this. In this scenario, all the laptops are tablet. Correct? In this scenario, all the laptops are tablet. So conclusion number 2 says some laptops are not tablets. This is not correct. This is a possibility, but it is not mentioned whether it is a possibility or not. So this is false. So both of my conclusions will be false. If I look at the options, option number 3 says neither conclusion 1 nor 2 follows. This will be my answer. Clear? This will be my answer. Coming to question number 3. Question number 3, statement number 1, 2 set of statements, 2 set of conclusions. Statement 1 says some blue are red. So, some blue are red can be represented like this. Correct? Some blue are red. Second one says some green are red. So, again, I can represent it like this. Some green are red. This is going to be my Venn diagram. Now let us look at the conclusion. Conclusion 1 says no blue is green. Again, it is a possibility, but it may or may not be true. So again, it is a possibility, but it is not mentioned. So I will say this is false. Correct? Conclusion number 2 says no red is green. So over here, no red is green. Again, I can see overlapping between red and green. Clearly, there is overlapping between red and green. So this is also a clearly false statement. So I would say that neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows, which is given in option number 4. So option number 4 will be my answer to this question. Clear? Coming to question number 4. 2 set of statements, 2 set of conclusions, 4 options. Let us start. Statement 1 says no T is G. That means T and G are separate entities. They will not overlap. I am drawing a small cross to denote that they will not overlap. T and G are separate entities. Now, statement 2 says some M are T. So, M can be written like this. Some M are T. This portion we are talking about. Some M are T. It can be represented like this. This will be my Venn diagram. Now coming to the conclusions. Conclusion 1 says no G is T, which is correct because you see the cross over here. T and G will not overlap. T and G will not overlap. So this is a true conclusion. Okay. Conclusion number 2 says all M are G. This cannot be true because this portion of M is basically a part of T, and we cannot overlap T and G. So there will always be certain portion of M that will not be G, correct? All G can be M. Okay, understand this. I can draw it like this. This is T, this is M, correct? I can draw it like this. T and G are not overlapping. So all G can be M. But all M cannot be G because there is certain portion of M, this portion of M which overlaps with T. So there will always be certain part of M that is not G. Therefore, this statement is false. This statement is false. So conclusion number 1 will follow. If I look at the options, option number 3 says only conclusion 1 follows. This will be my answer. Okay, this will be my answer. Moving on to question number 5. Question number 5, 2 statements, 3 conclusions. We have to tell which conclusions follows. So let us start. Statement 1 says all X are B. So I can represent it like this. This is X. All X are B. Correct? Then no C is X. That means C and X are separate entities. So C will be different from X, and basically X and C will not overlap. X and C will not overlap. So these will be different. Okay, these will be different. Now what are the conclusions? Conclusion number 1 says some B are not C. Some B are not C. See, this portion of B cannot be C, correct? So there is some portion of B that is not C. So this is a true statement. Okay. Conclusion number 2. Conclusion number 2 says all C are B. Again, this is a very vague statement. This may or may not be true. We can have C over here. We can have C over here. But again, this may or may not be true. So this is a possibility, but it is not mentioned. It is a possibility. Hence, it is a false statement. Correct? Conclusion number 3 says some X are C. Again, some X cannot be C because they are not overlapping. Hence, this is a false statement. So only conclusion number 1 is following. If I look at the option number 1 says only conclusion 1 follows. This will be my answer. Only conclusion 1 follows. Okay. Coming to question number 6. 2 statements, 2 conclusions. Let us start. Statement 1 says no car is red. That means car and red are separate entities. They will not overlap. Car and red are separate entities. They will not overlap. So no car is red. Okay. And it is given to us in statement 2, all reds are blues. So all reds are blues will be denoted like this. All reds are blues will be denoted like this. So this will be my Venn diagram. Car and red will not overlap, and all red are a part of blue. Okay, based on this Venn diagram, let us look at the conclusions. Conclusion 1 says some blues are not cars. So see, this portion of blue this portion of blue will definitely be not car, because here we have red. So this is a true statement. Second one says no red is car. So obviously red and car will not overlap with each other. Red and car have crosses, they will not overlap. So this is also a true conclusion. So when I look at the conclusions, both of my conclusions follow. So if I look at option number 1, it says both conclusion 1 and 2 follows. This will be my answer. Okay, this will be my answer. Moving on to question number 7. Question number 7, two set of statements, two set of conclusions. Statement 1 says some blankets are pillows. So some blankets are pillows can be represented like this. Highlighting part is this, some blankets are pillows. Statement 2 says all pillows are cushions. So I can represent it like this, that all pillows are a part of cushion. This will be my Venn diagram, correct? All pillows are cushion. Conclusion 1 says some blankets are cushion is a possibility. So now if you see this part, this is a part where blanket is also overlapping and cushion is also overlapping. So definitely some blankets are cushions is a possibility. This is a true statement. This is a true statement. Second one is some cushions are pillows. So definitely if you look at this area, this is a part of cushion which is pillows, correct? This is part of cushion which is pillows. So this is also a true statement. So both my statements are true. So I can say both conclusion 1 and 2 follows. This will be my answer, option number 4. Option number 4 will be my answer. Clear? Moving on to question number 8. Question number 8, two statements, three conclusions. Let us start. Statement 1 says no car is a bench. That means car and bench will not overlap. Correct? No car is a bench. They are separate entities. They will not overlap. All tables are car. So I can draw tables like this because all tables are a part of car. Okay, do not confuse this. Some people draw it like this. All tables are cars is drawn like this. This is a wrong diagram because then this portion is table but not car. So this is the wrong diagram. Please pay attention to the question. The question says all tables are car. That means table will come inside car. Tables are a part of car. Okay, so this will be my Venn diagram. Based on this diagram, let us look at the conclusions. Conclusion 1 says some cars are tables. So obviously there is this portion that some cars are tables. So this is true. Conclusion number 2 says some cars are benches. This is definitely false. This is definitely false because cars and benches are not overlapping with each other. So this is definitely false. Third one says no bench is a table. Now if you look, table is inside car and bench will not overlap. Car and bench will not overlap and table is inside car. That means table will not overlap with B. So no table will be a bench. Correct? No table will be a bench. No bench will also be a table because again they cannot overlap. Table and bench cannot overlap. So this is also a true statement. No bench is a table. Correct? Now if I look at conclusions, conclusion 1 and 3 are true, but conclusion 2 does not follow. So if I look at the options, option number 3 says only conclusion 1 and 3 follow. This will be my answer because only conclusion 1 and 3 follows. Okay. Question 9. Set of two statements and two conclusions. Statement 1 says all cracks are chips. So if I have cracks, all cracks are chips. Chips will be drawn like this. All cracks are chips. And then it is given that all drinks are chips as well. So we will have a drink over here. So all drinks are chips and all cracks are chips. This is going to be my Venn diagram. Okay, this will be my Venn diagram. Based on this, let us look at the conclusions. Conclusion 1 says some drinks are not cracks. Some drinks are not cracks. This is a possibility. Okay, if I draw the diagram like this, this is my chips, this is my cracks, and this is my drinks. Let's say the diagram looks like this. So let us look at the statement. All cracks are chips. We have completed this. All drinks are chips. We have completed this as well. So some drinks are not cracks. This is a possibility. This is a possibility, but because it is not mentioned it is a possibility, it is just mentioned as a conclusion, therefore this will be false. Conclusion number 2 says all chips are cracks. Obviously not, because this is cracks is just a portion in chips. Okay, so this is also false. So basically neither 1 nor 2 follows. So if I look at options, option number 2 says neither conclusion 1 nor 2 follows. This will be my answer. Correct? This will be my answer. Question number 10. Set of 2 statements and 2 conclusions. Statement 1 says no forests are trees. That means forest and trees are separate entities. They will not overlap with each other. So no forests are trees. Then it is given to us some trees are short. So some trees are short will be represented like this. Highlight will be in this area. Some trees are short. So this is my Venn diagram. Based on this Venn diagram, let us look at the conclusion. Conclusion 1 says some forests are short. See, again, this may or may not be true. It could be like we can have forest over here also. We can have forest over here also, because forest and trees are not overlapping. In that case, some forests are short. Okay, some forests are short. But this is a possibility. Again, I am saying this is a possibility. Therefore, this is false. If the statement was, okay, if the conclusion was some forests being short is a possibility. Okay, if this was the conclusion that some forests being short is a possibility, then it would have been a true conclusion. But since it is not mentioned it is a possibility, therefore it is false. Second conclusion is no tree is forest. Again, no tree is forest is correct, because tree and forest are not overlapping, so this is true. So basically only conclusion 2 follows, which is given in option number 2. Only conclusion 2 follows. This will be the answer. Okay, this will be my answer. Coming to question 11, set of 2 statements and 3 conclusions. Statement 1 says some MRP. So some MRP will be represented like this, correct? Some MRP. All X are M. So X will be a subset of M, because all X are part of M. It will be represented like this. This will be my Venn diagram. Conclusion number 1 says some P are X. Again, this is a possibility. We can have X over here also. But this is a possibility. In the question, it is not mentioned it is a possibility. Therefore, this will be false. This is a possibility. Therefore, this will be false. Okay. Conclusion number 2 says some P are M. So some P are M. Definitely this part is correct. So this is true. Conclusion 3 says no P is X. Now, no P is X. This is again a possibility. Correct? This is a possibility. So this is also false. No P is X and some P are X. These are possibilities, therefore false. So either 1 or 3 will be correct. Either 1 or 3 will follow. So if we have an option that says either 1 and 3 follows and 2 follows, that will be the correct option. But in the options, I can see that we have only conclusion 2 follow. So this is definitely true, correct? Only conclusion 1 and 3 follow. No, this is false. Correct? Only conclusion 3 follows. This is also false. And none of the conclusion follow is also false, because we have option number 2 that is following. So my answer will be option number 1, only conclusion 2 follows. But let's say if there was a 5th option. If there was a 5th option that said conclusion 2, that said, okay, that said conclusion 2 and either 1 or 3 follows. If we had an option like this, then this would be correct. Then this would be correct. But we don't have an option like this, so we will go with option number 1 that says only conclusion 2 follows. Okay. Coming to question number 12. Question number 12 says 2 statements and 3 conclusions. Statement 1 is no yellow is green, so yellow will not overlap with green, correct? No yellow is green. Statement 2 says some pink are yellow. So we will have pink over here. Highlight will be this part, that some pink are yellow. Okay. This will how my Venn diagram will look. Conclusion number 1. No, green is yellow. Obviously, they are not overlapping, so this is a true conclusion. Conclusion 2, some yellow are pink. Again, I can see this area. Some yellow are definitely pink, so this is also true. Conclusion 3 says all green are pink. Again, this is a possibility. This may or may not be true, so this is false. This is false. So my answer will be that only conclusion 1 and 2 follows. This is given in option number 1. So option number 1 will be my answer. Okay. Question number 13. 2 statements, 3 conclusions. Statement 1 says some x are b. So this will how I will represent, highlight being this part. Some y are x will be written like this. This will be the highlighted part. Some y are x. So this is my Venn diagram. Conclusion 1 says some b are y. This is a possibility, but it may not be true or it may be true. Therefore, this is false. Correct? Some b are x. Conclusion number 2, some b are x. This is definitely true. Conclusion number 3 says some x are y. This is also definitely true. So my answer will be only conclusion 2 and 3 follows, which is given in option number 1. So this will be my answer. Okay, this will be my answer. Question number 14, last question for this lecture. Statement 1 says some pilots are cutes. So some pilots are cutes will be written like this. This is the highlighted part. Second says all ballers are cute. So ballers will come inside cutes because all ballers are a part of cutes. Correct? So this is my Venn diagram. Coming to the conclusion, conclusion number 1 says all cutes are ballers. This is false. This is false. Second one says some pilots are ballers. This is again a possibility. This is a possibility. It may or may not be true. Therefore, this will be false as well. So my answer will be neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows. That is option number 1. Option number 1 will be my answer to the question. So this concludes today's lecture. Thank you.